up to harvesting. I wish to inform you that we are working closely with some of the farmer cooperatives which we are supporting as an organization. These are 5, and we are located 3 of them in the 3 sub-counties. The role of these ones was to give support in the training of the parents on sustainable agricultural practices and good agronomic practices. The other role was to provide milling services of some food such as cassava and maize. Can you proceed? And I see. Again. In the 9 schools, we covered a total of 7,113 pupils. Proceed, please. Some of the key achievements is that 77% of the parents, of the communities within the beneficiary schools, were able to have embraced this initiative. Enrollment in all these 9 schools has increased by approximately 84%. At least 7 out of the 9 beneficiary schools we are able to have over 600 kilograms of maize within one season. Proceed. The school retention has improved. The neighboring communities have started to appreciate sustainable agricultural practices. We have government bodies, governing bodies such as SMCs have demonstrated full conviction about the parent school-led model. For example, parents in Otatai Primary School are even able to contribute to this cause. Proceed. These are some of the gaps and the challenges. One of them is that some of the schools have a problem of the necessary infrastructure. The classrooms are not enough, and yet some of the classrooms are used as stores. The other biggest challenge was to do with the teacher-pupil ratio. In about, I think, 5 of these schools, one teacher is attending to over 100 pupils, and that is a challenge. Proceed. Now, out of this initiative and the successes that were registered, we decided to have a sharing meeting with the national level stakeholders. It is out of this sharing meeting that a recommendation was made to scale up this initiative in other schools, if possible, throughout the country. But then there was a need to document the process and the procedure, how this can be done. In order to do that, we worked with the Ministry of Education and Sports through the Education Standards Agency, and that was by the guidance of the PS, and we developed a school feeding, a community-based school feeding and nutritional guide. As I talk now, this guide is before the PS for the endorsement, and we hope very soon it will also be somewhere like here for launch, probably by the Ministry of Education and Sports. I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Musisi. Allow me now invite the representative of Save the Children Uganda to come and make a presentation of 7 minutes.
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Once again,
my name is
Sangara.
I'm the project manager.
Bana.
I'll be
presenting my.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aloysius Magnot. I'm the School Health and Nutrition Coordinator for the children.
Okay, you can start. Yeah, next slide. So Bana program is where our school nutrition program is being housed, and allow me take you through briefly about Save the Children. Save the Children is one of those largest child-focused NGOs in Uganda, and impacting over 1.5 lives of children, 1.5 million children in Uganda. Save the Children has been operating in Uganda since 1959, and our work is guided by the National Development Plan and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We work with key stakeholders on child rights, including civil society organizations, communities, government, and the media in contributing to the realization of children's rights. And next, please. We have, as a country office in Save the Children, we work in about 5 thematic areas. That is child protection, education, health and nutrition, child rights governance, and child poverty. Today we'll be focusing mostly around health and nutrition, but around education, Save the Children focuses on early childhood education, that is ECCD, and basic education. Next slide, please. In Bana program, this program is funded by Save the Children US, Save the Children Italy, and Save the Children Korea. We have about 14,962 children enrolled into this program. And being Bana program is a sponsorship program, where about 11,592 children are sponsored from various individuals in the 3 countries that I mentioned. This is a 10-year program that was scheduled to end in 2024, but due to the impact of this program, we had an extension to 2028. So the program is based in Wakiso district, the rural sub-counties of Namayumba, Masulita, Gombe Division, and Kachiri, and partly in Western Uganda, where we're working in refugee settings, that is Changwali and Rwanda. And if you can just show the other map right there, producer, just the map. I want to show the impact area. That map. So in Wakiso, as I rightly said, it is Namayumba, as you can see from the geographical location map, Masulita, Kachiri, and Gombe Division. Next. So let my colleagues take you through the nutrition program aspect of our program.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. So the major goal in school health and nutrition is to improve learning and development outcomes for children, which includes improved health, nutrition-related knowledge, attitudes, practices, and behavior. And we are focusing on the 4 major outcomes. The first one being access to services, both health and nutrition. The second one looks at improved quality of the school environment, still to promote health, hygiene, and well-being and safety.
And then the third one looks at the SBC component, social behavior change, attitude, peer-led community outreach interventions. And then the last one, we are looking at improved coverage of local to national policies, something to do with governance and policies. Next. So majorly the activities that we have been executing ever since inception of this particular project are tailored for schools' capacity strengthened to provide nutritious and adequate midday meals to children. And one of the key activities where we've engaged different stakeholders, especially school management committees and parent-teacher associations and head teachers. We've done some mentorships on planning, recording and bookkeeping on school feeding resources. I've also built capacity in school garden demonstrations with support from agriculture extension workers within the district, and AFAD, which is also an organization that does quite a lot of work around livelihood. We've oriented the school management committees and the parent-teacher associations on pest control, post-harvest handling and mixed farming for dietary diversification. We think children should go beyond just 2 major meals, portion beans, and also look at the other vegetables that enrich their nutrients. And then what is key to us on the component of policy is popularizing the national school feeding guidelines to parents through print and audio media. And you'll agree with me, like CIDI was presenting, it's the duty and mandate of parents to be partisan in contributing to the welfare, especially meals for their children, and that is how we try to let them know about their roles and responsibilities. And then we have had dialogues on school feeding with male parents. Around, I think, the country, we still have challenges with male parents who are the key decision makers to be able to be involved in the affairs of their children, especially feeding, in providing resources and what have you. And then very key is disseminating the school health policy regulatory impact assessment to the lower level education structures. We think these aspects of school feeding will fit into this particular school health policy, and it will support us to give us a direction going forward. Something that I didn't mention, not here, is that we also do fortification for vitamin A by supporting integrated outreaches, working with the district health facilities, DHO, and within schools. Given that they have been closed, we've taken a community-led approach. Next. So there are 26 program-supported schools that are implementing school gardening, and those are the various ones in the 4 sub-counties of Gombe, Masulita, Kachiri, and Namayumba. And I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we work in 82 primary schools, and so out of those, this is the focus that we have. Next. So that's the pictorial of the school gardening rules. Besides promoting school feeding, we also are very aware about the child rights and how it should be conducted in the school environment. Next. So that's just a pictorial of some of the vegetable gardening that has been done in some of the schools. Farming, including nutritious plants like mango trees. Next. Some challenges that we have had. Some of the schools don't have sufficient land to grow foods, and setting up demonstration gardens, this is a challenge, and therefore they may not be able to provide enough for the learners. There is still low parental commitment to fully participate in the school gardening activities by either providing monetary resources or labor. Then also there is low commitment from some schools. Gardens are not well facilitated, and other teachers leave gardening to only the trained ones. And then the communities encroach on crops grown, especially vegetables and fruits. And also because, you know, in Africa we are having our livelihood, the animals are encroaching on the crops planted. Next. Just a demonstration of the garden moving around. Of the vehicle moving around, sensitizing the community, using community radios on the school feeding, roles and responsibilities. These are dissemination of community dialogues and sessions on regulatory impact assessment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the team from Save the Children Uganda. Mr. Kisangala, kindly have a seat up here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap for the team for the different presentations. I want to now invite you questions and answers, most likely for the next 10 minutes before we move to the next item. Can someone take the microphones, the mobile microphones around so that we save time? They don't need, participants don't need to come here. Is the microphone on? Okay.
You Chair, Mr. Dongoso, I'm happy to see you here.
Thank you.
I thought you had gone out of Uganda, and I've not seen you for 2 or 3 years. First of all, I want to query the arrangement here. We thought the first lady, we knew she was not coming here, but why don't you connect and we see her and she sees us?
She is going to join us shortly.
As we do all this, I mean.
Her team are ably taking notes, but you know, as Minister of Education and First Lady, she's very busy with other things. She has just finished officiating at a graduation in UCU, and she's coming to join this meeting. But because of COVID and social distancing, that's why you see the way we are sitting. She will join us via Zoom from State House. So you are going to see her, and you will.
That's what I wanted.
Yes.
Okay, now. One to Assistant Commissioner Mr. Wambona. Thank you very much for your project, the nutrition project, and it has done wonders in our schools and the communities at large. But this time, I don't know if it is due to COVID or whether you extended. So I don't know that the extension is not working very well. The fund is dwindling and the feeding continues, whether people are at home. You know, you have these extension farmers, the lead farmers, and the community facilitators. Work is ongoing. So you continue funding us so that that project doesn't go to the west.
Okay.
And this man of Soroti, I'm happy you are involving learners in the projects of producing food. But I wanted you to tell us properly, because me, I'm a product of a similar project sometime back during the World Food Program things. We used to grow food for ourselves at school. But at one time, you'll find like a whole afternoon. We used to have timetables for classes, of course. But you would find the whole afternoon we are with hose digging, meaning that classes are not that they sort of not attended to very well. So I would want to see how it is impacting on the learners, on the timetable in your area now.
Thank you. Perhaps we can get instant questions so that we Mr. Wambona, the question was directed at you. Maybe you can respond so that we don't leave so many questions hanging.
Thank you, sir, for this question.
the issue of funding. There is just a small bureaucratic issue to sort out, and everything will flow normally. We have already, the funds are now, we have at least, we have brought them from Washington. So the next 2 years will operate. We're not going to close. So I can assure you we'll operate. But there are some few gaps which we are trying to close, and everything will be okay.
Thank you. There is a hand here, another one at the back. There is another one there. So let's start from there.
Well, my hand is to support Sam from CD, answer the question of, are we not giving too much for the children? If I understood the question. The point is, this model is emphasizing a lot of joint efforts between the parents, the teachers, and the structures of the school PTA, and of course the children. So there is, like he mentioned, that where these activities have been located, CD has been working there with the communities, creating cooperatives, doing agricultural programs and supporting them. So this of the community-led nutrition is a way of asking the cooperatives or parents within the cooperatives to give back to their children as corporate social responsibility. So much of the thrust is actually with them. How do they support school feeding of their own children? So there is some planning, and little time is availed to the children for the purposes of learning. But much of the work is conducted by the farmers, and also the seed supports to provide equipment and the good seeds, so that the farmers can implement this program within the schools together with some of the school teachers and some members of the PTA, mindful of the fact that the children should also be staying in the school to study, but they learn in the process.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's move to another person.
Thank you, dear facilitators and the moderator. I have two concerns, and mine cut across. I'd introduce myself as Robert Agume Diokazo. One, I remember in 2017, we met here and we made a resolution concerning the same program. And I think the minister endorsed that resolution. And when we moved, among that resolution was that the parents were supposed to support this program, parent-led school feeding program. But again, when we went, as we are trying to prepare the program, other directives came from the president and through the Minister of Local Government, questioning schools why they collect some money, and it became a very big issue. Actually, districts responded, including my district. I'm inquiring, isn't there harmonization? Why is there this? We have resolved to do this as the Minister of Education and Sports, and then the following day we are asked to very many questions. Actually, there was also a sort of research that was conducted about the usefulness of UP and USE and why it should be continued or why it should be scrapped. And all those issues were rotating on head teachers agreeing with parents. So this is some money to buy beans and posho and feed children at the school. I think we need harmonization there. Secondly, we also need support in orientation of the district leaders. We are in a new Chisanya, there are new leaders, and some of them are disoriented about this program. And it becomes very tricky for us to continue implementing when the schools reopen with the new breed of leaders when they are not oriented. We had also proposed that we draft bylaws or ordinances at the district levels so that they become bylaws about how school feeding is going to be implemented. Incidentally, I don't know where other districts, whether they did implementation. Ours we had started on and it's stalled. I have fears that we need support, we need all stakeholder engagement so that we create these ordinances so that parents are compared. Because when these parents continue to be breastfed, if I can use the word, everything they are looking up to government to support them. And if they are not compared, and if the government does not designate roles meant for parents and those meant for teachers and those meant for what, parents will just spend their time doing everything they can, thinking that even government will provide the funding for this activity. We actually get challenges. For them, they think that the school feeding program brings money to feed the children, when much of the work is to mobilize them to feed their own children. I want to thank the CD, this organization that works in Soroti. We also have ours that works and had done some good mobilization. Out of the 63 government primary schools and 69 private schools, over 100 schools were enrolled and the feeding rates were improving, but we got threatened because of course feeding children goes with money. We got threatened. Actually at the verge of COVID, we are at a dilemma whether to continue collecting money and feeding children for those parents who had accepted the idea, because others, I think, who failed or who never wanted it, were choosing head teachers, SMC chairpersons and PTAs for getting this money to feed their children at school. Thank you very much. Let's fight these contradictions and ensure that the intentions of this activity continue to achieve its intentions.
Thank you very much. Let's have the last hand of the lady. Let's have the last. Okay, I'll take those two now, but because I'm trying to save time, we have a panel discussion, and I'm left with only about 35 minutes to join the other side where we see the First Lady. But please, 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you so much. We do appreciate the nutrition program in our schools. However, my question is one. For example, in my district, I have over 80 primary schools, but it's being implemented in only 26 schools. Is there any possibility of rolling out the program in all primary schools? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's have now the last one hand there, just next to you.
Thank you so much, moderator and the presenters. I just have a few inquiries. My name is Edward from MAKERERE University. I really want to thank the multi-sectoral project, CD, and Save the Children for the work you are doing in schools and the communities. The first inquiry goes to the Mr. Alex. This multi-sectoral project, the issue of funding, you know when a child is born and is put at exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months and complementary feeding comes in 6 months, 2 years, there should be a strategy to make schools win off, I repeat, a strategy to make schools win off the funding so that they can appreciate this project and take it on and own it and implement it. I don't know what strategy exists. Otherwise, we may remain on exclusive breastfeeding and part of complementary feeding for a long time. The CD, this CD project is a good one, but my inquiry is, at baseline you sensitize parents. How do you keep them motivated throughout? Do you give them incentives throughout the project life? How do you keep them engaged up to the end?
Thank you. Can I request the IDI representative to respond to that? Is that okay? Musisi? Is that okay? There is a microphone here actually. Let's respond to that that question.
Thank
Just
you.
1 minute.
How do we motivate these parents? Like you started very well, the issue of baseline. There are no such things like incentives to the parents in our approach. But, like I said, of course, time was not enough. In that presentation, there were some other process areas that I did not mention. But the fact is that in all these schools, by the time we get there are some inherent problems that both the parents and the teachers are aware of. For instance, teachers and the parents are aware that our children do not stay at school full day. Some of them study half day. And then they leave. Of course, not officially, but because they are looking for something to eat. Two, in many of these schools, the performance of the pupils before the intervention was very, very poor. But on starting the intervention, things like children liking school, getting interested in staying at school from morning to end, made it possible for parents to appreciate the issue of school feeding. In some of the schools, even the teachers, by the way, would not stay from morning till evening because there was nothing to eat. And they also benefited from this same intervention. They have the time to be there, and they get information from their pupils that we had lessons from morning up to the afternoon, up to the evening, unlike in the past, because the teachers are available and the parents, the pupils are also available. This, therefore, motivation, the benefits that come with a child staying at school in class to study is the ultimate motivating factor for these parents to support the initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm told there are 2 hands on the Zoom line. Technical team, can we get some of those 2 people who are dying to ask a question just to balance the opportunities before I invite and Asimwe Charles be on standby with the panel discussion. Technical team, is that possible? Can we get them?
Can I answer the sustainability strategy?
Okay, in 1 minute. Let's go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor, for the question. First of all, I must say it is not a school project. The school is one of the delivery vehicles. It is a multi-sectoral project. But as far as the school is concerned, we have a sustainability strategy in place. In fact, for the overall project. And in the next 2 years, the key sustainability will be a very key issue. As far as school is concerned, we have developed the standard operating procedures for school gardens. It is a national document. We launched it in 2019. And in fact, I was about to ask the colleagues of ours whether they are using them. Because they must use them. It is the government, whether private, whether government, you must use them for setting up school gardens. And in 2019, the Minister of Finance gave a directive for all schools to put up nutrition-sensitive school gardens as part of nutrition improvement in the country. So that's a great sustainability strategy because it's national owned. So the school garden is not a project issue. We are working within the ministry guidelines, and the ministry, so it's upon education to take it on from there. We have put up, we want to commercialize the multiplication gardens, the seed. We want to put up seed banks at school level. Make sure when we leave, the schools can have viable school seed units, and we are going to make them give them some commercial-oriented enterprises, school level, in the next 2 years. And we have created structures for the school feeding programs in a way. At an opportune time, we can talk more about this, Mr. Dongo. So,
okay.
I think that is enough.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wambona. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us now to go to the U report. Is the report ready? The U report presentations. You want to come forward, or you can present from there? Please do. Let someone give you a microphone. In the meantime, Charles, come over here. Go ahead. I think I'm going to. How many minutes do you need? Is 7 adequate?
Yeah, less than 10.
Less than 10. 7. Go for 7.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, my name is Abraham Makerere. Together with me, there is Fatuma on the other side. We all work for U-Report Uganda. My role today is just to introduce to you this amazing tool that UNICEF uses for social engagement of the young adolescents. Next. Yeah, U-Report basically is a messaging platform for adolescents and for community participation. It's a free SMS-based tool. It works with any basic phone. It's a key tool. Specific areas that affect the young people. It could be HIV/AIDS, gender-based violence, and many more. Young adolescents. The average age is between 25 and 30 years. That does nutrition. 67% are male. We still have a gap in females that we are working so hard to cover up. And then it's proportionately distributed across the country. Every district in Uganda, we have at least a good number of youth reporters. When you look at the map on your right, the dark spots is where you report on the dark spots. And then just down here is the age group by percentage. Next. Concern with the young people, we send out messages, we develop questions and send out to the youth reporters, and then we get the feedback, and the feedback is automatically analyzed. The other way, the way youth report works is through live chats. As much as can you? Yeah. Then the other thing is the youth. Okay, it's okay. For someone to become a there's an then information that is shared through your report. Next. This is a sample of the poll we did yesterday, nutrition in education. We ran a quick poll. The target group was adolescents of 25 years and above. Then within 24 hours, we had received a total of 44,000 messages just within 24 hours. Can we go? Yeah. So that was sent to the over 25 years participants. The first question was, please tell us what nutrition and food system activity are you taking? Please tell us what nutrition and food system activity are you taking part in supporting feeding of children in schools? This is how the responses come in. Within the 24 hours, we got 14,000 people who participated, and this is how they responded in. The majority, I think around over 53%, mentioned they are involved in agriculture activities, which is planting food crops like maize and beans that the young people eat in schools. And then the rest. So the second question was a follow-up after they responded to the first question. We asked them what are the nutrition and diet-related challenges faced in primary schools. the majority, we got around 8,000 participants on that. And then the majority mentioned diet imbalance, like poor feeding, eating the same type of food every day. We all know this, most of the children at school eat portion beans, and then maybe they rarely get the balanced diet on the weekend, and so on. When you look at down here, these are just the sample quotes the EU reporters in their own words. Maybe I can just sample one. One of the EU reporters said, we have developed a small participation farms with different food types such as dodo and carrots to boost our site.
Can you summarize?
Yeah, can we go to the next?
You have surpassed the 10 minutes you requested for.
Okay. Yeah, so this is just another, the last two poll questions that we sent. Can we go to the next slide? I conclude from there. Yeah. So in summary, in conclusion, there is this amazing data we get from these young people, but it takes users of the data to create meaningful participation. We get this information, but if we don't use this data to create a positive change, there is nothing we can achieve. So it's upon us to take up this data and come up with solutions to create a positive change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's clap for him. Good job, and continue. And if possible, at an appropriate time, keep sensitizing these partners, the different stakeholders, because they would be interested in following this, even when they go back to their various jurisdictions. Thank you so much. May I now invite Charles Asimwe to join us with the panel discussion. Now, I will, once I get a signal and the Minister of Education is ready for the launch, I'm going to interrupt the panel discussion, and then we allow the First Lady to take us through the launch, that part of the program, and then we will pause the panel discussion with an intention of finalizing it after that has been done. Okay, so let's start the discussion now. Charles, you're most welcome.
MC, my namesake. I'm Charles Asimwe. As I introduce myself, I work with the Office of the Prime Minister as the Senior National Advisor in the Directorate of Strategic Coordination and Implementation, which is responsible for the coordination of implementation of the Ghana National Action Plan, where Minister of Education and Sports is part of the implementing MDS. I want to welcome the Chief Administrative Officers who came in later, the CAO Wakiso, the CAO Tororo, who is at the same time the chairperson for all Chief Administrative Officers. If I have forgotten any other CAO, you pardon me, but we recognize your presence. They are going to call them also. The ones, when I read your, I have, you can take a front seat, and you already have your question. Then we have the DEO. You take the front seat. We have assistant commander.
Then I hope the seats are enough because I have 7 panelists. Then the program come forward. And I think last but not least, have I forgotten? Come forward. Those are the 7 panelists. And in order to avoid the element of missing time and diluting your questions, I will request to read your question and give the highlights on it. The micro. You can come here. Yeah, the seats are not. Okay.
My question reads, what that you are implementing or that are implemented in the schools of Western Uganda? There are a number of activities. The case study is Kazo and Chirhura. Kazo was carved out of Chirhura. And before the creation of Kazo, I was the in-charge SNV and related activities and school feeding. And I am also aware of these activities that are taking place in the districts in the Western. Among the activities or the core activities, at the entry of this program were orientation of different stakeholders. We began with the district leadership, where the chairperson, the RDC, and the rest of the political team were oriented. We moved on to the TPC, the planning arm of the district. We moved to the sub-counties, that is orientation. And then we invited the school schools were and actually so for the case of the school have enjoyed and the education ordinance at the district levels to enforce the law is
Thank you. Explanation. We structured the questions in a way that Robert couldn't be allowed to talk about what are the anticipated challenges or existing challenges within the
once again, District Education Office, Mbarara. My question reads, what are some of the challenges faced in school and nutrition programming? The main for organizing this important meeting regarding our children in schools. And of course, school feeding is one we usually face in my to be harmful school level. Precisely, that's what it means. Or even urban setting, some grow small of potatoes. Some schools don't have land. In fact, I have in Mbara district, and when you talk of gardening, it becomes a dream to them. We have supported by SNV in Mbarara on school feeding. We try at least for a simple meal at lunch. Some parents resisted because it has a financial implication, and the mentality is that government should come up and feed the children. Can you imagine? So if I can, program started in Mbarara. At that time we had 109. We started with 10 and then rolled to 47. Some PT and parents on the new program to be introduced. I had to coerce them, some of them, so that sense really could be in their head. Thirdly, there are also, like the DO Kazo said, some parents don't want to contribute. Think of by a parent to feed his child for a whole time. That's too much. What is the government doing? Can you imagine? So there are categories of parents who are just there. They produced children and they think maybe children belong to some other people. So there is still need for a much. people understood the UP policy. They tend to think that everything should be provided by the state. So made, and a lot of sensitization should also be made so that parents come to know that children belong to them. They don't belong to the state. They belong to the parents. The state simply supports and guides in policy formulation. We all know that imbalance is an issue. Even where we have succeeded, say in Mbarara in school feeding, in terms of school feeding, it is only a portion that is provided at break and even lunch. So issues to do with that are not much emphasized. And if we are to go by that, then it becomes damn expensive for parents to manage. That's what I think.
That's the
we echo this, that because of the attempt, mainland PRA has actually been good for the last 5 years. And schools that have taken up that program very seriously, their performance is very excellent. So this is an area that we should actually emphasize, more especially now that we have this it, so that even the lower rural parent can actually know it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, DEO Mbarara. The reason why I gave DEO Mbarara and the Kazo some time is that the presentation for SNV was available, but the presenter is in panel discussion, and I think it has been ably presented. Okay, you can take one.
An individual And
did not come to school. Why don't we go and pass by their home and ask him why he hasn't been coming to class? Oh, yes. Hello, Auntie.
Moses and Maria.
Auntie, we're just passing by to check on Tete.
Tete is sick. And I've also been sick with malaria for the past 2 weeks.
Okay, first go and remove your uniforms as I go to check on them. My dear, you have to go to the health center with the younger children for treatment.
From the checkup, you and your children have not been feeding well. You are all malnourished. So, what can I do about it?
Tete, how are you doing, my son? I'm fine. You should, because Moses and I already have our own at home. Mom, can I have some seeds to start my garden? Oh, but you'll have to first ask your father first.
Family. This will help improve the health of your family. And, you should also stop drinking and focus on producing food and taking care of your family. Okay? Wait. I can you... Good morning, Mrs. Kato. You're welcome to Kapay Primary School.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Help. Thank you. My name is Maria, and these are our cows. They give us milk, which is added to our porridge.
you have enjoyed it with the champions of nutrition, Maria and Moses, and we can have many more champions. The exciting thing is that all these things that make balanced diet are here in Uganda. They are available, and a lot of times they are cheap or even free for those who live in the countryside. So I think it's possible to have our children eating well and growing well. So what UNICEF, our European Union, I hope we are going to launch meeting. So Mama, you guests, so that when we do the launches and whatever, we transit into photographs.
I just need to say thank you, really, for now this comic book, which is quite valuable for our communities, for our children. And so I thank you on behalf of our people, and it's a real pleasure for us to now launch this comic book today in gratitude to UNICEF and all the people present here today. We pray that it will be beneficial to our people to learn and to really do what and so
for UN and